A marriage farce from my wife. I met Cassandra in college my sophomore year. I had seen her on campus since the first day of my freshman year, but our paths never crossed. One night I was at a party, and there she was, surrounded by an entire platoon of male admirers. Our eyes met, I smiled, she turned away, and I went and got myself another beer. I stood on the back patio and breathed in the fresh air. It was a clear night, and I was looking up at the stars when a voice behind me said, "Which one do you think I should name in my honor?" I turned and saw Cassie standing there. "Of course, the one that's brightest," I said. She smiled at me and asked, "How come we still haven't met?" "We don't seem to go in the same circles." "I saw you looking at me inside. Why didn't you come over and introduce yourself?" It was my turn to smile at her, and I gave out my biggest and brightest, "I can't stand crowds." She held out her hand and said, "Hi, my name is Cassandra, but my friends call me Cassie or Cass." We talked for a while, and then I asked her out. She said yes, and so began my ongoing relationship with the woman who would one day become my wife. Cassie and I dated for about 3 months before we decided that we should try out being a permanent couple. After 3 months of our ongoing relationship, I drove to Cassie's sorority to pick her up from a scheduled evening out. One of her sisters handed me a note that Cassie had left for me that said something had come up and she would call me the next day. I went out and had dinner and went to the show. After the show, I decided to stop for a drink and went into an establishment near the movie theater. I was sitting at the bar sipping a Coors Light when I heard a familiar laugh behind me. I turned around and saw Cassie sitting in a booth holding hands with some guy. Someone had dropped a few quarters into the jukebox, and as the music played, Cassie and the guy got up to dance. He pulled her to him, and she rested her head on his chest, and he moved his hand down her body, and I saw her smile as his hands moved down her body as they swayed to the beat of the music. I finished my beer, got up, and left. I'm a pretty curious guy, so I drove to the sorority house, parked, and waited. It was 7 in the morning, and Cassie still hadn't come home. I was in my apartment when Cassie called, but let the answering machine take the call. I left in the evening, and when I got home at 3 in the morning, there were 3 more calls on the machine from Cassie, all asking for me to call. On Sunday, I let the machine take 4 calls from her, and it wasn't until Monday afternoon that we connected. I had 2 hours before my next class, and I was sitting in the student cafeteria sipping coffee and reviewing my notes from the last class when Cassie slumped into the seat across from me. I looked up at her and then sank back into my notes. When I didn't say anything, Cassie said, "I've been trying to call you all weekend. Where have you been?" "Trying to drown my sorrows." That sounds pretty serious. "Dare I ask?" "I saw my girlfriend at the bar Friday night. She was dancing really close with some guy and didn't seem the least bit bothered when he put his hand down her body and left it there. In fact, she was smiling and burying her head in his chest when he did it. But even if it didn't bother her, it bothered me. So I drowned my sorrows. I can explain, baby." "No, you can't, Cassie. You had a date with me and you stood me up to go on a date with another guy. There's just no good explanation for that." I looked at my watch. "I have to go. Time for my next class," and stood up, leaving her sitting still. Cass was sitting on my doorstep when I got home that night. "Can I come in? I'd like to talk." I shrugged and stepped aside to let her in. I motioned for her to take a seat, and then sat down and motioned for her to continue. "First of all, Bob, you don't own me." I didn't say anything, just sat there looking at her. "I know we're dating, but I'm young, and when I meet someone I think I'd like to get to know better, I want to date them. I'm not ready for marriage, honey, and I want to look around while I have the chance. What's wrong with that?" "Nothing, Cass. It's the way you did it. You had a date with me. I made dinner reservations and had already bought movie tickets so we wouldn't have to stand in a long line. All that went down the toilet when you dumped me. You want to date other guys? Fine. That's your choice, but setting up a date with another guy and then tricking me into keeping it? No way, Cassie. By the way, did you have sex with him? Don't be silly. What did you do? We had dinner, then went to a bar, had a few drinks, danced, and then got in his car and talked for a while. By midnight, he brought me back to the sorority house. I stood up, walked to the door, opened it, and turned to her. Go away, Cassandra. Just get your lying face out of here. I'm not lying, Bob. You sure are lying, Cassandra. I was curious as to how you two were dating, so after I left the bar, I drove to the sorority house and waited for you to come home. I was still sitting there waiting for you at 7 in the morning until I finally resigned myself to the fact that you were probably in his bed and stopped waiting. Get out, Cassandra. It's bad enough that you did this to me, but I'll be an asshole if I sit here and lie. Bob, I swear. Out, Cassandra, just get out. 3 weeks passed, and one day when I came home from class, I found Cassie sitting on my doorstep again. She wanted to talk, so I let her in. We sat down and she said, I missed you. I know I messed up, honey, and I'm sorry. After not seeing you these past 3 weeks, I realized that you're my boyfriend. Can we work things out, honey? Can we be together again? She was gorgeous, she was fantastic, and I was so in love with her that I couldn't think straight when she was around. So I forgave her, and we were back together. But in doing so, I planted the seeds of something that would come back to haunt me later. It took 4 months before it happened again, but Cassie had already learned. She called me Thursday and told me she met a guy who was really cute, and she wanted to get to know him better and agreed to go out with him. We don't have anything planned for this weekend, so I told him I would go out with him on Saturday. I just wanted you to know so you wouldn't think I was sneaking around behind your back. The next couple weeks were a little chilly between us, but eventually I let her convince me that I was the one she really loved, and things got better. Cassie did this with me 6 more times before we graduated, and each time we ended up back together. I think I was infatuated with Cassie because she was so good. A month before graduation, and 2 months after her last little outing, Cassie asked me when I was going to propose to her. I may have been a cuckold, but I wasn't stupid. I wasn't planning on asking you to marry me. Cassie sat up and looked at me with a stunned expression on her face. What? But I thought we had something. I thought you loved me. I do, Cassie. But being in love doesn't mean I automatically have to be stupid. I'm not going to marry a woman who always finds a cute guy she wants to get to know better. You've done that to me the entire time we've been in contact, and I love you so much that I always ended up forgiving you for it and staying with you. I was able to do that while we were single, but there's no way I'd put up with it if we were married. And honestly, I don't think you'd ever change. You can't say that, baby. You know you're my boyfriend. Sure, I've checked out other guys. But isn't that what a girl is supposed to do? Make sure she picks the right guy before she gets married? I've been looking, honey, and you're the best. You're my guy, baby. The search is over. That's you saying that now, Cass. But I've been through this too many times. Every time they tell me you're my boyfriend, I say, okay, and let you go. But 2 or 3 months later, you have another cute guy that you just have to check out. I don't believe you'll ever change, and I'm not going to marry a woman I can't trust. Okay, then how about this? We'll live together for 1 year and see how it goes. I'm serious about this, honey. You're my boyfriend and I know it, so just give me a chance to prove it. I thought it might help. And besides, I really liked having her around. We graduated from university, got jobs, and started running a household together. Things were working out just fine, and I started to think that maybe I was Cassie's boyfriend after all. About 6 months into our relationship, the company sent me out of town for 2 days. The day I returned, I went straight to my apartment from the airport, and as I walked in the front door, the phone rang. The answering machine picked up the call before I could get to the phone. Hey, Cassie, it's Darren. Listen, I had a great time last night, and I'd like to do it again. Give me a call, okay? He called his number and hung up. Dropping my bags, I walked over to the machine and looked at it. Do I erase the message and not let Cassie know I know, or leave it and see what happens. I chose the latter and went into the bedroom to pack. When Cass got home, I was in the kitchen and she came in and gave me a big hug and kiss. "Welcome home, Tiger. It's only 5:30, but are you ready for bed yet?" "Maybe in a little while. You have a message on your answering machine." Cass walked over and hit the play button, and I saw her face darken when she heard the message. She looked over and saw me watching her. "It's not what you think, honey." I just stood there looking at her while the message went on. When it ended, Cassie hit the delete button and then came over to me and hugged me. "It's not what you think. One of the girls I work with asked me to come over after work and have a drink with her. You were out, and I didn't feel like going home to an empty apartment, so I agreed. While we were there, her boyfriend called her on her cell phone and she told him where we were and to come over. He arrived, we had a couple drinks, and then his friend came over and saw him and joined us. The four of us were sitting around talking when the band came in, set everything up, and started playing. We had a drink, I danced with both guys a couple times, and then got up and left. He must have gotten my number from Sarah. Honestly, that's all it was. I must have looked a little skeptical because she said, "Come on, baby, trust me. If I was doing what you're thinking, would I have given him my home phone number? No, I wouldn't. I'd give him my cell phone number or my work phone number. Come on, baby, it's been 2 days, take me to bed." It sounded reasonable, so I put the thought out of my head and forgot about it. The rest of the year went by quickly, and Cassie started talking about getting married again, and I asked, she agreed, and we tied the knot. A year went by, and Cassie and I were doing great. Our relationship was strong, we both had good jobs, and we loved what we were doing. We settled into a comfortable life, bought a house, furnished it, and immersed ourselves in a routine. Once a week, she would come over with the girls from work, usually on Tuesday because I was bowling that night. Once a week, I played cards with my buddies, usually Thursday, because that was the night Cassie played cards with her college sisters. The rest of the time, she only left the house on the nights I was out of town. On those nights, instead of staying home alone, she would have dinner with one or two of the girls she worked with. And then one night, I discovered how stupid I really was. I got home from work just in time to see Cassie grab her purse and head for the door. "Are we going somewhere?" "Not us, honey, just me." "Where are you going?" "I have a date." "You have a date?" "Yes. Sarah introduced me to her boyfriend's friend, and he asked me out." "Are you serious? You're really going on a date with another man?" "Cass, did it ever occur to you that you're married now instead of single and back in college?" "It'll be fine, honey. Trust me." And she walked past me and out the door. I sat there waiting for her to come home at 3 in the morning. "Oh, you're up? I expected you to be in bed." "I don't think so. We need to talk." "Well, okay. Come on. We can get to it while I undress." And she headed for the stairs. I followed her and sat on the bed and watched her undress. "I want an explanation, Cassie. I thought we had a good marriage, and I'd like to know why you just threw it away." I saw the kisses on her neck as I took off her sweater, saw the love bites on her breasts as I removed her bra. "Don't be silly, honey. I didn't throw anything away. I'm here, aren't I? You can always count on me to come to your house." "I can't believe you're acting like this. You're here, you've come home, so everything's okay." "It's always been like this in the past. I mean, you always sulk and pout for a while. I guess it has to do with ego or male insecurity. But in the end, we always come back into each other's arms. You're my boyfriend, baby. You've always known that." "It was different then. We weren't married." "Come on, Robert. You know damn well I've been doing this since we were married, and you've been turning a blind eye to it." "No, Cassie, I didn't know." "Of course you knew. You know exactly what I do on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and you know exactly what I do on the nights you're out of town. I know you like to pretend you don't because it soothes your male pride, but I know you knew. Have you forgotten why we lived together for a year, Cass? To make sure you got tired of running after me. Why would I do that, Cass, if your running around is something I'm willing to put up with?" Baby, baby, baby. You know I'm still doing it. You heard that message on the recorder and you let yourself believe what I told you, even though you knew what was going on. Now let's stop this nonsense and go to bed. I want you to make love to me. Aren't you already full for tonight? Don't be rude, darling. Yes, I had sex tonight. But now I want to be made love to. I walked over to the dresser, opened the drawer where Cassie kept her sex toys, and tossed them to her. Here you go, Cassandra. The only lover you will have in this house is these toys. And I left the room. I sat in the living room for an hour, staring at the wall and shaking with anger. And then I got up, went to the spare bedroom, and tried to sleep. I tossed and turned for a long time, but eventually, I managed to fall asleep. When I woke up, Cassie was lying in bed next to me, putting one leg over mine and hugging me. I pulled away from her, and she woke up. What are you doing here? My place is here. You're my boyfriend, and I'm supposed to be with you. Bullshit, Cassie. After that date you gave me last night and what you confessed last night when you got home, our marriage is over and I don't want you anywhere near me. Don't be silly, honey. I love you and you know I do. And I know you love me. The fact that I need something different from time to time doesn't mean I don't want to be married to you. Come on, honey, let's start the day right. Make love to me. Cassie, stop it. It's over between us. I don't know how you got it into your head that I knew what you were doing and that I was giving you tacit consent by not bringing it up, but you're wrong. I didn't know, and if I had, this farce of a marriage would have been over long ago. Now leave me alone. And I got up to shower and get ready for work. When I got downstairs, Cassie was already waiting for me. Honey, please, we need to talk. We talked, Cassie, we talked when you got home last night, and I heard more than enough, and I didn't like any of it. I grabbed my briefcase and headed to work. Fortunately, I was in the final stages of a project, and I was able to immerse myself in work that day and not think about Cassie and our dead marriage. I thought about it on the way to work and again on the way home and started mentally making a list of things I had to do. Cassie wasn't home when I arrived, so I sat down at the kitchen table and started writing down everything I could think of. Find a divorce lawyer, find a realtor to sell the house, close all joint accounts, etc., etc., etc. I was contemplating whether to cancel the life insurance policy on Cassie when I heard the front door open and Cassie called out, "Honey, I'm home." Gee, I thought, and went back to my list. Cassie walked into the kitchen, and I looked up to see her smiling at me. "Hi, honey." And she leaned in to kiss me, and I turned my face away from her, and she frowned. "Come on, sweetie. Don't be like that. You know you love me. It'll work out. It always has. I've been thinking about it all day, and I think I finally realized what the problem is. I don't know why I didn't notice it before. It was right in front of me the whole time. You feel left out. Well, I'll take care of it, dear." The doorbell rang. "Oh, there he is. It's a little early, I guess. He can't wait. Come along, dear. Let's go greet our guest." She went to open the door, and I just sat there shaking my head. It didn't seem to matter what I was saying to her, or with what force. In her mind, everything was fine because she just knew I loved her, and I knew she loved me. I got up to see what she was doing now. She was leading a tall, handsome man toward the kitchen and said, "Bob, this is Paul. Paul, this is my husband, Bob." The man held out his hand. Caught off guard and not knowing what else to do, I took it, and we shook hands. Paul has been stalking me for about a month now, and today I called him and invited him over. I know it's unexpected and that you weren't expecting it, but I'm sorry it took me so long to notice you, and I wanted to start making amends soon. I know this is all new to you, and you might want to relax. You may only want to watch the first time or two, or maybe you'll start right away. There's no pressure, honey. Just do what you want. Come on, Paul. And she took his hand and headed for the bedroom. I just stood there and stared at her back as she walked away with Paul. I had spent 2.5 years of college with her, lived with her for a year, and had been married to her for a little over a year. After all that, You'd think I'd know her pretty well, but now it was obvious that as far as she was concerned, I really didn't have a clue. And it seemed that she didn't know me any better than I knew her. How could she think I could accept what she was doing? Where did she get the idea that just because she said she loved me and that she knew I loved her, it was okay? And where did she get the idea that all that was wrong was that I felt abandoned? Did she really think I would follow her and her lover, boyfriend, or whatever he was, into the bedroom? I grabbed my coat and was on my way to the door when I heard Cassie having sex with Paul in the bedroom. I don't know why, but suddenly curiosity took over and I headed into the bedroom. A minute passed, then Cassie stood up and smiled at me. She got on her knees and snuggled up to me. "Come on, honey. Make love to me while I wait for Paul again." I should have turned and run screaming out of the room, but I didn't. I was mesmerized by the sight of Cassie. I made love to my wife while Paul watched us. Cassie held Paul in suspense and saw me getting ready to leave. "Where are you going, Bobby?" "Somewhere away from here." "No, Mealy." When I heard that, I shrieked. I had had enough. I threw my clothes on the floor and walked back to the bed. I grabbed Cassie by the hair and started having sex with her. I let go of her hair and stood there marveling at the promiscuity of it all. Paul looked at me. "You sure have a hot maniac here. I wish my wife was like that." "You're married?" "Yes, to the sexiest and coldest fish in town. I'm wandering around because I can't get anything at home." I wondered who was really worse off. Me with a wife who does too much, or him with a wife who does too little. At least in his case, if she wasn't making love to him, she probably wasn't sleeping with everyone else. In the spare bedroom, I lay on the bed, staring up at the ceiling and wondering why I hadn't stood by my opinion when I told Cassie I hadn't planned on asking her to marry me. I knew what she was then, so why had I let her convince me that marriage would change her? Was she right when she said I knew what she was doing all along? Was I pushing that knowledge deep into my subconscious where it was supposed to stay hidden so I wouldn't have to confront her? Is she right when she says it doesn't matter because I know she loves me and I know I love her? Is that right? What about our night? The ease with which Cassie handled it said that it wasn't the first time she'd been with more than one man. As for the threesome itself, part of me felt disgusted with myself for doing it and sinking to her level, but part of me loved seeing my wife with another man. The next morning, I woke up to Cassie screaming to make love to me again. "Good morning, my love," she said. "How are you feeling this morning?" "Confused." "Of what?" "For participating in what you did last night. I'd feel better if I just took my coat and left." "Don't say that, dear. You had a good time. I know you did." "No, Cassandra. I had an overwhelming curiosity to see if you could cheat on me. Everything else happened because I had to stay to watch." Cassie giggled. "He was amazing, wasn't he? I had no idea he was that good when I agreed to meet him." "Yeah, but you seemed to be infatuated with him last night. You didn't even notice when I left the room. I suppose there's an upside to that. He might become your steady boyfriend when I move out." "Honey, stop saying that. You're my boyfriend, and I'm not letting you go. As for Paul, he was just a one-night stand. He was great, and I'd love to play with him 3 or 4 times a week, but I can't do that because it wouldn't be fair to you." "What does that mean?" "It means that if I kept seeing him, you'd never be able to make love to me again because you'd no longer be suitable. As it is, you'll probably have to settle for my body for the next few days to give me time to get fit." "What's the matter with you, Cassandra?" "We're done. The marriage is over. And we're done, 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 done." "Don't be silly, Robert. That unfaithful woman knew me better than I knew myself. When I made love to her, she said, 'Maybe once a month.' What do you think, honey? Once a month?" "Once a month what?" "Maybe I could see Paul once a month. Would that be okay with you?" Cheater, I thought as I had sex with her. I figured I'd better get used to her games. The end! Subscribe to my channel. Thank you!